Hi, I'm really glad to be here today. And I've thought very long and hard about what I need to do. And what I've realized is that on, I've been talking for weeks about loving yourself. We've been talking about how these feelings impact on our success with regard to weight loss. And I've come to the very definite conclusion that we have to become honest. We have to face reality and recognize that reality is different for all of us. I want to start off today by talking about two guys in the Bible. One guy was named Cain. He had a brother. His brother was Abel. Somehow or other, they decided that there was a higher power. And they wanted to thank that higher power for giving them whatever it is that they had. Cain was a farmer. And he was going to sacrifice some of his crop, and he took from the best of his crop. Cain was a shepherd. He was going to sacrifice as well, but not from the best of his crop. And what came next to me is something we all need to learn. No discussion. Flame came down from heaven, consumed Abel's sacrifice, and it was over. Not a word was said. Abel was happy. The higher power had taken his sacrifice, and off he went. Cain, however, was incredibly disturbed. He felt ignored. He felt that this higher power loved his brother and ignored him. He felt unloved. And what did he do? He killed his brother. End of story. What stuck with me and what sticks with me is that all of us want to be loved. All of us want to be accepted. All of us want to feel, let's say, worthy. But all of us have different perspectives. We come from different places. We have different histories. And what I have come back down to is, how do I get you to trust you? I'm going to digress for just a moment because I received an email just before I went on air today It's from one of our AccuWeight people, and I really enjoy getting these. It starts, let me share a proud moment. This past Saturday, we had an outing for the group that I volunteer with. Normally, we do spring trips, we go places, we do things. But because of the pandemic, we've been kind of enclosed. We had kind of a party. There was really good food, including salmon, candy canes, popcorn, cotton candy. I was on a milk day. I brought my own food. And I gave away my food tickets that people had purchased so that I would not be tempted. And some other people could benefit from the food and the sweet tickets. I did so that I would not be tempted or rationalized by eating anything. I was so proud of myself. The reason I'm writing this, Doc, let's see how I do this coming weekend. This person faced her own truth. This person recognized that she might be tempted and said, I'm not sure I can trust my own behavior. So I'm going to take action. And by taking action in a positive kind of way and not be passive about it. And because she took action, she succeeded. Yes, this coming weekend is coming up again. And if we focus on ourselves and understand what trust means, we'll all be more successful. I've told you many times different situations and circumstances. Here's the question. Are you here watching me because you want to learn something about weight loss? Are you here watching me to find methodologies that will help you? Are you here to recognize that you're not alone in this? That every single person who's watching this has issues and has issues because food and comfort are inextricably connected. Before I came down here, and I'm on maintenance and have been on maintenance, planned to have dinner before I went on the air. And I wasn't sure that I could trust myself. So before I had my dinner, I had a bowl of my special soup. And I was really pleased with myself because of the fact that I didn't trust myself to feel comfortable, to rush myself to be ready to speak with you, and also to be satisfied. The reason I love the soup, it has some calories in it, but I have discovered that the digestive process causes the body to burn more calories than are contained in the soup. So it tastes good, it's satisfying, and in the back of my head, I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to enjoy this because it's going to cause me to lose some weight. I haven't had dinner. The bowl of soup took away my appetite. I wasn't hungry any longer. And here I am. I'm not on the program, so I'm going to have dinner after we close, but I'm not going to rush. It's not going to be a large dinner. It'll be satisfying because I've had that edge taken off. I was proactive. And I didn't trust myself. So I acted and behaved in a manner that put me in a position that I didn't have to deal with temptation. And that's the key for me. It made me feel good. I had taken action, recognizing that I'm fallible, you're fallible. And by taking that action, it helped me be stronger. And not only stronger, its net effect was greater than I had expected it would be. Several years ago, my daughter Barbara was doing the program. And Dad, of course, was supportive. And one of the things that happened, not because of anything conscious, but the fact that we worked together. And I knew that when it came to food, she was on the program. She had to be finished by 6 o'clock. I was not on the program. But I was going to eat with her, and we had discussed it, and she said, "It's okay, Dad. You can eat. I'm on a vegetable day. It'll really meld together. And I'm really eager to fit into those new pants that I bought." That meal was the first time I had actively focused on the fact that she was on the program decided that I would eat with her. And the fact that I could be supportive and she could recognize that was critical. And she trusted me to help her recognize that she should be proud of herself for making herself come first. I want to switch for a moment to this patient who has been in my life for a long period of time. When he started the program, he was 357 pounds. And he said to me, Dr. Schwartz, I'm really unhappy. I can't walk well. I can't do stairs. I go to work, I come home, I'm tired. They love me at work as far as work is concerned, because I'm really good at what I do. I'm an engineer. But I'm really lonely. And the reason I'm lonely is people love me to assist them in doing work. But people don't really engage with me. They say hello, they say goodbye, they don't socialize. And I'm hoping that when I lose weight, my life will change. He went from 47 pounds down to 212. Dramatic loss. We did the stabilization. He left. And what I want to share with you is a telephone call that I got. Dr. Schwartz, I have a question. I've lost over 100 pounds. My life has changed, but I want to ask you a question. Since I have lost the weight, I've gotten a promotion, I've gotten a raise, I've been invited to join committees, people talk to me, I have to sometimes be a bit abrupt because I have work to do and people want to engage with me and ask me questions. Here's the question, Dr. Schwartz. How can a man who weighs 347 pounds be invisible, and when he loses over 100 pounds, he becomes visible? He did the work. He's a changed person. And he said to me that the most difficult thing that he did was opening up and saying to people, I'm not eating with you or the way in which I eat. I'm doing it because I want to lose weight. I want to change who I am. People made fun of me, he said. They thought it was ridiculous the way I was living. Only eating between 12 and 6. No breakfast, no dinner, milk days. And I didn't hide from it as I had done in the past. Some of the saboteurs were there. They made comments. They offered me things and telling me that I was missing out on. And I heard. And I realized that it all had to do with me. They didn't really care about me. I was not part of their lives. And their perception of me was based upon the fact that I was doing something to take care of myself. And I realized that's what bothered them. I was no longer hiding. I had opened up. And I thank you for that, Dr. Schwartz. And I thank you because of the fact that you helped me recognize that it's all dependent on me. I'm a good guy. I like people. I like to do things. I like to have fun. But I was grossly overweight because I was hiding. And you said to me, and I'll never forget that, create the person that you would like to be, because he's going to be living with you. I trusted in you, and I've learned to trust in myself. I like the me that I'm becoming, and I'm not finished yet. I like the me that I'm becoming. And I think because I like the me that I'm coming, and I interact with people now, and I answer their questions, but I don't hide. And they are beginning to trust. And that's the exciting thing. It feels good. People actually talk to me. People actually share with me because I share with them. Not everything. And because of that sharing, because of this openness that you pushed me, and I wanted to share that with you because that's what this is all about. Trusting yourself doesn't mean that you have to be rigid. Trusting yourself is recognizing that you're going to think about yourself as though you were important. And you're going to act and behave in a manner that makes you feel good about being important because of how you act and behave. That doesn't mean you won't have personal secrets, things that you don't share with other people. How did Robinson Crusoe survive on that island? People are not built to be alone. We're social beings. And this need as in Cain and Abel. To be loved is critical. Now, here's the question. My answer, I'm going to give you. Abel gave from the best of his crop. Cain did not. I don't know why. And I'm not going to make believe that I do. Abel was happy because this higher power that he perceived had given him, and he wanted genuinely to say thank you. And so he gave of himself. Cain, on the other hand, for some reason or other, chose not to say the kind of thank you that he could have. And since he was not acknowledged, he did not feel loved. I guess it reinforced what he was feeling to begin with. Maybe that he wasn't a good shepherd, or that he needed more. The key, though, was that he didn't feel loved, and he never verbalized it. All of us want to be loved on one level or another. All of us want to be acknowledged. Our actions and behaviors are what reflects out there and what attracts other people to us. And that's where this trust issue is so important. You get up in the morning with you. And if you don't trust the person that you get up with, who are you getting up with? We all have aspects of our personalities. Once you decide that you're important enough to do the things that you need to do to make yourself important in your own life, it changes your reaction and the interaction with the rest of the world. I've shared with you often that I'm a miracle. Learning disabled, dyslexic child who became a doctor. It's a miracle. All of us have had pain in our lives because of situations and circumstances. It's hard to live through knowing that people perceive you in a particular kind of way, and based upon your thinking, that doesn't feel good. Well, here's what you have to recognize. Not everybody is going to care about you. In fact, most people are not. And it has nothing to do with your value. It has to do with their own needs, their own life experiences, whether they are Abel or whether they are Cain. That is the reality. But then there's another reality. All of us are imbued with what I call the lack of, the, how shall I quote, evil intention or evil inclination. We're tempted, we're needy, we want. And that evil inclination pulls us down. Because when we act in that kind of way, we're acting in that kind of way because we don't see ourselves in a more positive way. What I've also learned is that we were imbued with something that actually neutralizes the evil inclination. It's what I hope AccuWeight Loss in part is all about. The evil inclination cannot survive in an atmosphere of love. Trusting yourself, doing things to enable you to trust yourself, recognizing that you're not perfect, but that you were created imperfect. And therefore, all of us have weaknesses and flaws. However, if I act from love, I can overcome. But I have to do the things that say I love myself to be able to trust and overcome all of them who say I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable. I told you I sat in the hall for over 6 months. Excuse me. Looking through the crack in the door because I wasn't allowed to be in the classroom. That was a heck of a lot to overcome. Some people had perceptions of me. I was the dummy of the class. I couldn't be allowed in the class. And then there were others. I was fortunate. I had a skill. My left arm. I could throw a curve and a fastball. If you know about baseball, one is really fast and one doesn't go straight. And people wanted to use me to benefit themselves. And so, when games would be chosen up, I would be chosen because I increased their chances of being winners. Not because of me, but because of my talent. Hear that? Not because of me, but because of my talent. And I fell in love with my talent. And I fell in love with my talent because it made me feel good. And I practiced my talent. Because when I practiced it, it improved. It ensured that other people would choose me, but it also made me feel good to know what I was capable of doing. Here's part of the bottom line, though. It didn't change the reality. Until I overcame my ADD and my dyslexia, I was still disabled. And through that process of learning to trust in myself, to trust that I could throw a baseball, that I could throw a curveball, I began to grow and I wasn't aware of it on the inside. It helped sustain me. And here I am today talking to you about exactly the same thing. You're sitting here because you want to lose weight. You also recognize that it's difficult to lose weight. For if it were easy, you wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be interacting. And you've had many issues with regard to that process. And that's what we need to do today. First, admit that it's okay to struggle. Recognize that if you don't come from love of yourself, you will always be needy. And needy people can never be filled up. I don't want to get into the issues of society, but I've seen, and you have seen, that needy people need. And so you meet the need. And the more you meet the need, the more needy they become. It's terrible to feel needy. It's terrible to be needy. But when you can find a methodology, and that's what we are all about. You've made a decision. I'm going to lose weight. You made a decision. I'm going to do it the AccuWeight way. You've made a decision. I'm going to be tempted, but I'm going to learn and do things to help me deal with my temptation. I'm not going to excuse the fact that I have temptation. I'm human. I want. But I'm not going to accept that temptation and make me feel guilty and remorse about myself and my behaviors. And the more I trust that I can do things to strengthen my sense of self, and that's what he meant when he said, Dr. Schwartz, I've lost well over 100 pounds and now I'm visible. I was 347 pounds and invisible. He likes the person he's becoming. He's creating that person. He's risked revealing himself. I'm on a diet. I'm eating this. I hope you support me. And recognizing that those people who sabotaged him were actually giving him power. Because the only reason they sabotaged is because his attempt and work at doing what he was doing was impacting negatively on them. Hear that? It was reacting negatively on them. So two things. It also let him know whether he could trust them. Because there were some people who supported him, who acknowledged what he was doing. And those people and his interaction with them helped what's becoming a changed world for him. I don't know what his next steps are going to be, but I'll bet he's going to move from having been needy to someone who has the ability not only to be open, but so filled with himself. As that email that I shared with you at the beginning, that was key because she gave away. She actively gave away her tickets for food and sweets so that she would not be tempted, but also felt good that she was capable of giving. And if she was capable of giving, how needy could she be? That's where our growth comes from. That's what trusting yourself is all about. What you have to do, and this is what we have to create an atmosphere of: interacting, sharing, letting ourselves be known. Why would you be embarrassed to say, I'm losing weight and this is why I'm behaving in the way in which I'm behaving? If you are overweight, doesn't everybody know that you're overweight? And if you're like most people who are overweight and not happy about being overweight, you want to lose weight. Simple. So now I'm going to share with you, this is what I'm doing to lose weight. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not asking you to disagree with me. I'm asking you to recognize that I'm doing what I'm doing for the reasons that I'm doing it. And that's where the strength comes from. The more I do, the more visible I become. But I become visible in a manner that says, I want to be like that person. Let's do more of this. Let's share with each other. Take the risk. Ask questions. I'm going to be on air again next week, the week after. We're going to continue this. Where are you going to be? You can sit there and learn. That's wonderful. But you can also participate by asking questions or sharing your experience. And when we all interact and we all share our experience and we all learn from each other, we recognize we're not alone. We recognize, and this is what's important, the love of self neutralizes the evil inclination. And that's where the power comes from. I'm going to deal with some questions now. Question number 1. How much electrolytes should I be drinking? That's not an easy question. First, understand that electrolytes are chemicals that allow the nervous system in your body to run smoothly. Like potassium, like calcium, they are elements that allow your body and aid your body's electrical system to run smoothly. And we all are electrical mechanisms. Your nervous system, whoop, electricity went from here to there and was monitored by your brain, and it told you. Now, in warm weather particularly, our bodies perspire, not necessarily sweat, but our bodies perspire. And in the perspiration, out come electrolytes as well, because they are in the liquid system of our body. So therefore, it is helpful, particularly if you exercise or go for a walk, or it's a particularly warm day, that you take some electrolytes. They come in pill form. Noon is one of them. Ultima is another one. And you put the pill in water. Some of them are flavored. You drink the water, and the electrolytes replace those that have left your body through the perspiration. Therefore, it's dependent on exercise, on perspiration, on the heat of the day, but it's something, particularly if you feel a little lightheaded on a warm day, that you think about replacing that. What can I help? What can I do to help with my hunger? Actually, this question relates as well to the question before. I'm going to say this again very simplistically. You can live for weeks without having any food. You can only live for days without water. Food is 85% water. For those of you who are on the program, we've taken away all of the food, in quotes. So therefore, we've taken away all of the water that would have been in the food had we not taken it away. 95% of hunger is dehydration. If you are hungry, the odds are exceptionally strong that you are dehydrated. Because remember, on the program, you're getting your energy from the sugar that comes from the fat in your body. So therefore, hunger is dehydration and not lack of fuel. Will the extreme heat have an effect on my weight loss? The answer is maybe. And here, let me explain. We have promised you, if you're doing the program the way it's projected to be worked, we've said 15 pounds every 30 days. That has not changed. We haven't amended it. The only thing we've ever done is, for example, on the summer special days, we've said that it will slow your weight loss because you're not really on the program. So you've made a choice to accept a slower weight loss. But aside from that, 15 pounds every 30 days is what we say. Now, on summer days, our bodies are affected. People differently. The key is to stay hydrated. The key is, when necessary, to use electrolytes. But water retention, which can be a problem, or dehydration, which is there because, again, your body is holding on to water, will eventually not impact on your weight loss. Because as long as the food part of the program and the acupressure is going along well, you're going to lose the inches and the weight when these exigencies pass. I have been constipated for a week. What can I do? Now, first and foremost, let me clarify that statement. I see constipation as dry stool, little balls, not a normal stool. Many people believe that they need to go to the bathroom on a regular daily basis. Generally speaking, that does not happen when you're on AccuWeight because of the fact that the amount of bulk that you're taking in has been dramatically decreased. So the amount of waste that the body has to form a stool is diminished. And it's not unusual only to go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times a week. Some people more, some people less. Now, if you are constipated, it's clearly one of 2 things. 1, dehydration, dry little balls. Your body needs water to live. The stool is being formed in your intestines. It's the garbage department. The body wants to live. It goes into the garbage department. It takes out the water that's in the garbage for you to live on, and what's left? Dry little balls. Or you need some extra fiber because a stool is also made of fiber. Therefore, speak to me, speak to your consultant, decide which is being active at that period of time, and the answer will be simple. If I exercise, will I lose faster? No. Unless you're Michael Phelps, who exercised when he was stopped on top. He did 14 hours of exercise a day. Now think about this. 10 hours on a treadmill at 3.5 miles an hour. 10 hours is less than a pound. Will you lose faster? Since it's a question, my answer is no. Can I use vanilla ripple milk? Simple answer. If you use vanilla ripple milk, the answer is yes. Can you use the chocolate ripple milk? The answer is no. The contents of the ripple milk are equivalent to regular milk and are not a problem. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you read the ingredients, milk has sugar in it, not added sugar. Milk has sugar in it. And so, yes, vanilla ripple milk is acceptable. Chocolate ripple milk is not. I'm going on vacation and will be going off the plan. Should I still wear the beads? The answer is absolutely yes. When we go on transition, your first week of transition is still with beads, so as not to shock the body and to allow it to continue to perform. The beads also act as an appetite suppressant. If you go off, it will probably impact on weight gain a little more strongly. And so if the answer is, should I? The answer is yes. If the question is, can I do what I want? Hey, you asked me the question. I've given you the answer. Do what you want. Which is the best sugar-free alternative to use? Now, I'm going to talk only for Dr. Schwartz. Many of the sweeteners out there, and we're talking about artificial sweeteners, not sugar itself. Sugar, honey, guava, those definitely not. But the only sugar alternative that I personally recommend is stevia in different forms, Splenda Naturals, which is not the sucralose, and Splenda alternatives. There are powders out there that are flavored, that have stevia in them, and those are the ones that I recommend because historically they seem not to impact on the microbiome, on your gut, and they don't cause problems with the program. I can't drink my coffee without milk in the morning. What do you suggest? There are many calorie-free coffee creamers. You can get them on Vitacost.com. You can get them on Nutrition.com. And you can find them in various supermarkets. The key is not sugar-free. The key is calorie-free. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week. I hope you're with me. I hope you can trust me to help you trust you. See ya.